Alright, let's take a look at this new feature that's kind of a hidden behind the scene feature. It's the storing of images, right? So you are probably familiar enough with Dogwaffle to the point where you know you can store an image, and recently we've added them into a single bar so that they don't go all over the screen. But still, regardless of how that's done, if you were to add these, every time you store them, they used to go into memory, right? So it would take some extra RAM, and we'd rather not waste the RAM for that. And in fact, now it's saving it to disk. So anytime I go here, for instance, to store an image, or if I go over here to the image menu, store image copy, it would add it. And in fact, I've already added quite a bunch here, so they're storing down here now at the bottom of this scrolling thumb wheel list. But anytime you need to go back, you simply click on that, or there's a little pull down, right? So that's really handy because you work with that to have temporary images quickly stored, so you can restore them later as you need them. This one here I might not need anymore. This one I might not need either. I have a whole bunch here that I want to work with. And let's say, for instance, you run out of power, right? Or the program crashes for some weird reason. Now it's going to be difficult for me to simulate that. I can't just click here because that's if I close the X, it's kind of a clean exit. What I want to do is really simulate as if like now suddenly this thing crashed. So I'm going to actually use the task manager and find Dogwaffle, which is running here, and then simply close it. So I'm going to click end task. Now before I do that, I want to show you actually where those images are stored, right? These are not in RAM, these are not in memory. In fact, you see how much memory or how little memory Dogwaffle uses. And what I can do is actually see that the folder, it's the temp folder, right? So in the temp folder, which is typically on your C drive, you go down to users, you go down to your username, and then app data down to local. In fact, let's do that. Let's go down here to the top. In fact, up one more level. So I see my computer at this PC at the very top. I have an external drive too, but here is a C drive, so I'm going to go here. You need to have Windows configured to show you some of the system or hidden folders, so you might not see everything here, but usually users should be accessible. And then I have my account here, and then there's app data, and this is local, so I'm going to go to the local folder, and in the local folder I'm going to find Howler. There it is. And there's just one folder here, which is the temp folder. So there's a whole bunch of files there. Some of them are NDO files, undo files, and then there are some media, brushes. There's a bunch of undo files here. These are automatically added. If I sort this by date, you'll see near the top, you'll see the ones that were recently added. And maybe you need to sort them again to go in the reverse order. But at some point you'll see them recently added. And what's happening here is that you have undo files, and you have occasionally also some files that are the stored images. So anytime I store an image, a new one is added. In fact, let's go do that. Let's go just click this thing here, so we store the new one, and then if we look in the folder, there you go, we have a new one at the top, since it's still sorted by date. So I have this, and there's a couple of stored files like these, and I could look for them just searching for just the ones that are stored, and it should show me just those, right? So all the files that are the stored images that are automatically stored in the temp folder. And what I want to do is now close this. So I'm going to use the task manager and forcibly end this task. Select Dogwaffle and end it. And so now it's going to shut it down, and I still have those files. They were not deleted, right? So if I restart the program, first of all, I could recover these, but the program will actually recover them for you. So if I reopen Howler, it will restore. It will see that we have a bunch of stored images that are still there, and it will ask us, do we want to restore the last document? That's one thing it did already, but there's a couple of other things too. right? And so, oh, there's a couple of other new features, but it's timeout detection and recovery. There's some information about that. But certainly we want to restore the last document. I think regardless of whether we do that, you'll notice that it brings back the list of stored images right here. Right? In the order, I think, by the date, based on the order in which they were seen. So we can at least recover these images and go back to working with that. And so that's basically it. That's the great new feature that I wanted to highlight that came about with build 56 of PD Howler. And that's that. Thanks for watching, and have fun with Dog Waffle.